Greetings, Butterfly Tribe, and welcome back to The Way You See Me Heart Healing Ministry. Today we're going to resume with healing from childhood trauma, ages 10 through 13, grades 6 through 8. Today I would like to open with a scripture, 2 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, starting at verse 6. It is written, "For if I shall wish to boast, I shall not be a fool, for I shall speak the truth. But I refrain, lest anyone should think more of me than what he sees in me or hears of me, and to keep me from exalting myself, because of the exceeding greatness of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to hit me, to keep me from exalting myself. Concerning this, I pleaded with the master 3 times to take it away from me. And he said to me, my favor is sufficient for you, for my power is perfect in weakness. Most gladly, then I shall rather boast in my weakness, so that the power of Messiah rests on me. Therefore I take pleasure in weakness, in insults, in needs, in persecutions, in distresses, for the sake of Messiah. For when I am weak, then I am strong." May you all add a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of His set apart word. So today I want to lighten up things and focus on the good things that I endured in childhood, because there were good things as well as bad. I grew up with a huge family around me, a sense of community. I lived in a very small town where everyone knew everyone, where I learned about the Most High and His Son, even through community. As I told you, I watched my grandparents show this love. Now, my grandparents were older. In my younger childhood, they were older. They were already elderly. In their 50s and 60s when I was born. And so, surprisingly enough, a lot of the things that they endured in their younger life, I only heard about. But I did get to witness some good things, like I mentioned about them holding community prayer meetings and gatherings where the neighborhood people would bring food. We would locate or gather at different people's houses as scheduled. And I remember standing in the circle of prayer. And I remember when the old elderly ladies would hum. And it seems like they're just them humming gave enough power to bring down strongholds. The prayers could get quite lengthy, but whoever wanted to pray was more than welcome to pray. And in between each prayer, they would have singing and these elderly women humming. My grandmother was part of a circle of women in their local church called the Ruth Circle. And I thought it was too precious that they would have these phone calls. My grandmother would stay on the phone, and she would discuss community stuff with this group of ladies. Those were her friends. Those were her, we call it our circle now, or our tribe. Well, I witnessed that in childhood. I saw my grandmother intermingling with her tribe. And they had one goal, and that was to better the community. They did these things to keep the children out of trouble. One of the older ladies that my grandmother was really good friends with would do what we used to call them wiener roast. And we would all gather in the evening in the summertime, and we would have hangers, the wire hangers, and put the wieners on the hanger, and we would buy the food, and the money went to community things for the church or the community or individuals that just gave it. But we would buy what we wanted, but as a community, the children would gather around, and we would roast the wieners or roast marshmallows, and we can make hot dogs, and we used to have what we used to call cakewalks. And those are some of the great memories I have of my childhood. I remember being able to walk in the small town where I grew up. I could walk wherever it is I desired to go or ride my bike. I remember roller skating. I remember walking on pogo sticks. Childhood has some good memories. I learned team concept through sports. I played in the community with other children. We played basketball, we played kickball, we played dodgeball, we jumped rope. We had a normal, activity-based, age-appropriate activities. As I said in another video, the girls played hopscotch and double dutch. We played tag. We raced each other on the town streets. We walked barefoot in the grass and played outside. We played in the ditches, and we loved life as little children. I wanted to point out some of the things that nurtured me in childhood. Some of the friends that I made in childhood are still friends today. So it wasn't all bad. It was just some bad things, some bad seeds that were planted. And because they weren't handled appropriately and talked about, and the proper healing wasn't allowed to take place, those things came to fruition, because scripture says that we reap what we sow. Anything that planted will grow, whether good or bad, under the right circumstances. And eventually, the circumstances of my life that began to be a perfect circumstances for those bad seeds to uproot did come about. And it changed life as I saw it. It changed, sometimes now I look back and I miss the playful side of myself. We used to walk to the park, and we would spend all day at the park watching baseball games, buying snacks from the pavilion, while we watched our community friends play sports. I remember staying at the park so long that it would be dark, and the community was so safe then that we as children would walk from the city park to our houses at night. But one thing I remember is the lightning bugs. I thought they were so beautiful and at night. And just like the typical kid, we tried to jar them, not realizing that they needed oxygen. So we would catch them only to find them dead. And then we learned to poke holes in them. And then we learned to just let them be free. All the course of life. I liked dandelions and blowing them in the wind. I loved the stars at night. And I've had my share of witnessing many falling stars in the dark skies of the little small town where I grew up. So it wasn't all bad. And I'm grateful for those moments, because I believe those moments kept my heart soft. And all the stuff that would come later that meant to destroy me, they served a purpose, but they didn't take me over. I didn't turn dark. I kept my loving, sensitive, caring, kind nature. And even in times that I've had to fake a smile, I would like to believe that it was lingering on something that was real. So yeah, I wanted to discuss the good things about my childhood before moving forward, because age 13, between 12 and 13 gets, I shared some of the darkness, but it actually my life gets a little bit more dim and changes take place. And I start to see people for who they really are. Not knowing what to do with that information, but I was always able to see it. It was in between these ages as well that I started having dreams, and I would deal with what older people in my time called the witch riding your back. We now call it sleep paralysis. But I dealt with that starting at this age, to where you could feel something as you were dozing off to sleep, kind of taking on the energy around you, to where you're fully awake and aware, but you can't move, you can't speak. And it was scary. And it was only in my adult life that I learned that as I felt this presence trying to take over me, to begin saying the Our Father prayer. And in my adult life, when I saw the manifestation of something very real that I knew was dark, demonic, and I spoke, I was not afraid. And literally, from that moment, I stopped experiencing the sleep terrors or the witch riding my back. But I was an adult. But it started between the ages of 10 through 13. And continued on through life. So, again, age 12, I'm now in 7th grade. I am on the basketball, volleyball, and track teams. I am forming friendships and relationships, and the innocent crushes that most middle school kids have. I still have a form of my innocence. My innocence is still there. And I'm still learning about myself. I don't remember much. I still was struggling with the speech impediment that I've learned to live with, because I've just come to realize that I'm never going to say the S sound like most people. It won't stop the message that I'm trying to portray, because the power and authority that I speak in is from the Spirit. So I hope I haven't bored you with this. I just wanted to lighten up the mood just a little bit, because the next few years of my life are life altering. Yeah. So again, stay tuned. Go back and think of some of the good things you enjoyed in your childhood, even amidst abuse, dysfunction, the breaking up of families. What was your happy place? What gave you the sense of home. Search for that place until we meet again. Have a blessed day.